Folks, welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart.
Uh-oh.
She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Is this the title?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are back in action tonight against San Antonio at Crypto.com. First game for the Lakers since their win at Philadelphia on Sunday. The Lakers are 17-6, second best record in the Western Conference behind Oklahoma City. Bob Chesney was introduced Tuesday as the new head football coach at UCLA. The 43-year-old Chesney is 20-5 in 2 seasons at James Madison, a member of the Sun Belt Conference. James Madison is 12-1 this season. They won the Sun Belt title. UCLA will have to wait a while before Chesney goes to work. James Madison is in the 12-team college football playoffs. They play a first-round game at Oregon on December 20th. Chesney agreed to a 5-year deal with UCLA worth $33.7 million. He's got a lot of work to do in Westwood. UCLA is coming off back-to-back losing seasons and hasn't won a conference title since 1998. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
Live from historic Claremont Park in Los Angeles, California. I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavismiley.show.com. That's thetavismiley.show.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today in our second hour.
The primary mandate of the United Nations is peace. To preserve peace, to restore it if it is broken. The United Nations does not seek peace at any price. It does not seek peace by appeasement or surrender, but it does seek peace always, and will continue to do so, by means of honorable negotiation and conciliation. It considers a war stopped even more important than a war won. It believes that there is a desirable and possible alternative to victory in war, namely the termination of the war before it has been fought to a victorious conclusion by anyone, thereby saving untold lives, human misery, and destruction. We in the United Nations are convinced that no greater service to mankind can be rendered than unceasing effort toward peace.
In our second hour, UCLA law professor Cal Rostelia comes in studio to celebrate today's 75th anniversary of Ralph Bunche becoming the first black person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Professor Rostelia's book about Bunche is titled The Absolutely Indispensable Man, Ralph Bunche, the United Nations, and the Fight to End Empires. I mentioned Bunche was the first black person to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize back in 1950 for his mediation efforts in the Arab-Israeli conflict. Dr. King would be honored with that Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, as you also know, for his work in civil and human rights. We'll celebrate Ralph Bunche today on the 75th anniversary of his receiving the Nobel Peace Prize in Hour 2. In our third hour, two more conversations. Up first, Justin Elliott and Jareem Samuels, co-founders of the Worth app, billed as the world's first AI and blockchain-verified commerce platform. They'll talk about their new big investment from AWS. On the B side of Hour 3, they have completed the first building at the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. Lee Bay, architecture critic for the Chicago Sun-Times, joins us with his thoughts on this first building. And in this first hour today, two more conversations still. On the B side of this hour, retired Superior Court judge, that is LaDoris Cordell, is back to share her perspective on a number of trending legal matters. Judge Cordell is always on fire, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say about the Supreme Court agreeing to consider a new definition of birthright citizenship. And apparently the Supremes are preparing to give Donald Trump even more presidential authority. Judge LaDoris Cordell on the backside of this hour. Yesterday, we started the show in conversation with former DNC chair Jamie Harrison. Today, we commenced the program talking politics with another Jamie. This time, it's U.S. Rep. Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland. Mr. Raskin, how are you, sir?
Terrific. Hi, Tavis. It's great to be with you.
It's good to hear your voice. Thank you for your time. I want to play a clip right quick here, and I want to warn the audience. This is Donald Trump with some pretty spicy language, the stuff that we can't normally play on radio lest we receive FCC fines. But it is the president who is uttering these words, and to take it out doesn't give you the full context of what he's saying, the way he said it, the animus with which he said it. So if you're sensitive to rough language, plug your ears right quick. In 3, 2, 1, go.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators, they came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I said, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
He's doubling down, Congressman. What do you make of it?
Well, it's sickening, of course. It's interesting to me that he references Sweden and Norway and other socialist countries he's been denouncing because he hates socialism so much. He loves communists, though, like Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin and President Xi. But, you know, the racism is just so overt and out and open now. You know, this racism has come to permeate our immigration policy. Obviously, we see it in the cities of America where the masked guards in unmarked cars conduct warrantless arrests of people, including citizens, and try to ship them overseas. But they have now reduced the number of refugee admissions from 125,000 places last year for people who have a well-founded fear of persecution that they're fleeing from their country to 7,500. And the vast majority of those spaces are reserved for, hold your breath, white Afrikaners from South Africa, who he says are the most oppressed and persecuted people in the world.
Well, just getting started, Congressman Jamie Raskin. Much more when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
BET and PBS, The Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Maryland Democrat Congressman Jamie Raskin. I have a couple of questions when we come forward here about two House committees on which he's been the ranking member. The House Committee on the Judiciary, got a Supreme Court question for him, and ranking member on the Oversight Committee, got a question about those boats for him. We'll get to that in a second here. Congressman, you mentioned the word racism a moment ago, and I want to just pick up on that R word, if you will. We had this conversation on this program this week, I've had it a couple of times actually, about whether or not there is in fact a line for Donald Trump when it comes to this overtly racist behavior. This language is getting more and more spicy by the day. I was reading a piece in The Atlantic the other day about whether Donald Trump will ever be held accountable. Why, in fact, in real time. He's not being held accountable for his racism. You've been around long enough to know that there's a long list of electeds who have been pushed out of office, who've been forced out. Trent Lott comes to mind. There are many others who've been forced out because of their race baiting, their trading in race. And this guy isn't just doing it, but he's getting worse and worse by the day. I don't know what's going to come out of his mouth next, but how does he get held accountable for this, again, blatant, overt racism?
You know, it was obviously present from the beginning of the MAGA movement, but what's amazing to me is the way that racism, anti-Semitism, misogyny have really surged to the fore and appear to be the glue of his political coalition. Now, the good news is the political coalition is shrinking in real time and is getting beat everywhere. Virginia, New Jersey, New York, California, Mississippi, Georgia. Yesterday, the Democrats captured the mayor's office for the first time in 35 years, first woman ever to be elected there. So people are rejecting it. But, I guess what we're dealing with is the reality that this has been part of our country's history and political system from the beginning. And it has been the struggle against white supremacy and racism that has defined us as today the world's greatest multiracial, multicultural, multi-ethnic constitutional democracy. But obviously, we're still in the struggle. We're still in the fight of our lives with these people.
Yep. I want to talk about ranked choice voting here right now, since you mentioned the ways in which Democrats have been winning a number of elections of late. My research suggests to me that ranked choice voting is increasing in spaces across this country. What's your read on that?
So, yeah, ranked choice voting is being used in dozens of jurisdictions across the country. It's used in statewide elections in Maine and in Alaska. It's had very positive results across the country. So, what does ranked choice voting really stand for? I guess there are three things. One, the winner in an election should have a majority of the voters on his or her side. We should not have people getting elected either in a primary or a general with like 22% of the vote or 18% of the vote. Or, you can look at Donald Trump's career. Remember when he first ran in the Republican primaries, he was never getting much more than 25 or 30%, but it was like an Agatha Christie novel. And then they were none, where he would get all of them to gang up on one particular person, whether it's Little Marco or, Lion Ted Cruz, and they would go after one person. And then he was the last guy standing. But he never really had majority support. And had there been ranked choice voting, that would have been clear because most people rejected Trump. So that's number one. The people who win should be the people who are getting a majority of the vote. And by ranking the candidates, if somebody is the last one ranked, nobody gets 50%, that person's dropped. And then the votes are redistributed to the second choice. And you keep doing it like that until somebody goes over 50%. And that's how we've gotten Mary Peltola elected as the first Democrat in decades from Alaska, because the independents wanted her. And so she was a little bit behind in the first round balloting, but nobody got a majority, a little bit behind the Republican. But when you started getting rid of the independent candidates, their votes went to the Democrats. Same thing with Jared Golden in Maine. The second thing I love about it is it promotes positive politics, because instead of you're having an incentive to engage in character assassination against your opponent, you say, oh, that person's great. And, if I can't win your first place vote, give me your second place vote or give me your third place vote. You saw that work with great effect in New York with Mamdani and Lander, who basically cross-endorsed each other. So a lot of people voted for Mamdani first and Lander second, or they voted for Lander first, Mamdani second. They basically formed a coalition. Now, traditionally, they would beat each other's throats because it'd be like a zero-sum game. But under ranked choice voting, it promotes coalitions. And the candidates who don't get that, like Andrew Cuomo, are on their own, and they don't make any friends, and they end up losing at the end of the day. And the last thing I like about it is it deals with the spoiler problem. Let's say you've got one candidate in there who's basically running to say, I think we should decriminalize marijuana. That's my one issue. And maybe, I don't think I can win the election, but I want to get that out there. Well, people who support that person can rank them first, but then for number two, they can put somebody who is a more viable choice. But by voting for that candidate with kind of a polar position, you're not wasting your vote anymore. So this is working everywhere. And the Democrats, we need to do it because we should be promoting positive politics in 2020 2026 and in 2028.
Since you mentioned Zohran Mamdani in New York City, he is the most recent poster child, of course, for ranked choice voting and what it can do. Let me ask you very quickly, though, whether or not I sense the answer to this first question is yes. You think ranked choice voting in the 2026 elections and beyond will help Democrats? Number one, that's my first question. And secondly, is there a particular profile of person who you think is best benefited or most benefited by ranked choice voting?
Well, on that question, Tavis, it's basically somebody who knows how to reach out. I mean, right now we've got a system like in the primaries that would favor somebody who says, I've got a narrow band of support, but I think that can give me a plurality, 25 or 30 points, and I'm just going to go after that. As opposed to saying, like Mamdani did and Lander did, I'm going to try to reach out to build a broader coalition. And that's what's favored by the ranked choice voting. Now, there are different kinds of coalitions that can form for different purposes in different parts of the country, in different states, and so on. And this is why, the Progressive Caucus endorsed this legislation yesterday. It's more than a 100-member caucus. We already have dozens of co-sponsors on the legislation. Our bill is for ranked choice voting in primary and general elections starting in 2030. So people are not going to be thinking real short term about how is this going to affect my race here or there, but people can stand for the proposition, which will help us. I do hope that the Democratic Party adopts ranked choice voting for our primary elections before the 2028 presidential, again, so that we don't get a series of negative experiments in primaries with people attacking each other, but rather we promote coalitional politics.
You think that ranked choice voting ultimately will allow more women and more people of color to be elected, given that so many of them make great candidates, but don't always start out, to quote the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, on the good foot?
Well, that's absolutely right. In fact, there's good statistical data to bear that out, that women, minority candidates do much better in a ranked choice voting system. A lot of people might be fearful about taking on the machine or, breaking into line. But when you got ranked choice voting, you let the voters sort all of that out. And then people are less fearful of getting in, saying, well, it's not going to be an embarrassing thing. Nobody's going to end up with 0% of the votes or whatever. And it's not going to be that kind of dog eat dog, winner take all politics. But everybody's going to be able to be heard by voters and gain a respectful audience.
Let me pivot from ranked choice voting to ranking member. Jamie Raskin has been ranking member on a number of major committees in the House, including the Committee on the Judiciary, the Oversight Committee. Let me start with the Judiciary. We're going to talk later in this conversation, as you heard me suggest earlier, with retired Judge LaDoris Cordell. Can't wait to get her take on a number of things regarding SCOTUS, not the least of which is they're apparently preparing to give Donald Trump even more presidential power. I say nothing of the case they've agreed to hear around birthright citizenship. Your thoughts on either or both?
Yeah, well, these are both very dangerous blowout situations for us. It looks like there's no turning back the Roberts Court on giving the president the power to fire members of traditionally bipartisan agencies or commissions if they're Democrats or independents, which is what he's been doing. The case that comes before them relates to the National Labor Relations Board. And Trump has been saying, these traditionally independent agencies and commissions are actually just part of the executive branch, and I've got to be able to fire people whenever I want. And so, he did that with the NLRB, with the Merit Systems Protection Board, which is part of this one, too. Very dangerous situation because these commissions, like the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Election Commission, have written the rules and enforced the rules relating to fairness within the administrative process. Donald Trump, in his way, wants to politically control all of them. That's going to put a burden on us in Congress to try to figure out ways to build courts, Article 3 courts, that can do the work that those commissions and agencies were doing before, because we've seen with the Department of Justice what happens when Donald Trump turns everything into an instrument of his own political power. He starts sacking U.S. attorneys, even ones he's appointed, if they're not willing to prosecute the people he wants them to prosecute, like Letitia James, like Jim Comey, you name it. He wants the whole law enforcement function just to be in his political operation. And it will be the same thing with all of these federal agencies and commissions. And if they give him control of the Federal Reserve Board, he will do that same thing. And God help us from what he'll do to the economy. So we're going to have to figure out a way to deal with this. I mean, another thing that will be affected will be so-called Article I courts, that is, courts set up by Congress, like the immigration courts. Well, those will be directly under the control of Donald Trump and his political operation. We may have to think about turning that into an Article III court so that they have all of the protections of Article III of the Constitution. You know, I mean, even when you think about the Uniform Code of Military Justice and justice for people in the armed services, he's basically saying that if somebody does defy an illegal order, that he will be able to override the law and just order them to commit illegal actions. So the Supreme Court now is on an absolute rampage against the rule of law. And the work of our period is going to be to restore the rule of law against these people acting like political sycophants.
I've got 2.5 minutes left, and I want to yield the balance of my time to the gentleman from Maryland to tell me whether or not he thinks that the American people will ever see this video of this boat blown up, those 2 survivors apparently waving for help or rescue or something, and they went back and killed those last 2 survivors. The Washington Post suggests that it was Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, who actually gave that order. But now we're still in this gray area, this space where we're waiting for a decision, and Democrats have called for this video to be released. Your thoughts?
Well, it was a lawless strike from the beginning because Congress never declared war. So amazingly, he committed a war crime without a war ever having been declared. It obviously is not covered as a law enforcement action because our law enforcement actions are governed by the Constitution, which means due process, which means the presumption of innocence, which means you get to have a trial and defense. This was a mass summary execution of people who they allege to be drug dealers, and we have no idea who was in there. So it doesn't work either as a lawful act of war or as a lawful act of the criminal justice system. Will we get to see the tape of the so-called infamous second tap? Well, we're voting today, Tavis, on the National Defense Authorization Act. And there's a provision in there which says that 25% of Secretary Hegseth's travel budget will be cut. I mean, we really should be cutting the budget he's using to wage war without congressional authorization, or we should at least be cutting his makeup and PR budget, which is what he really cares about. So I don't know whether we're going to be able to get it out of them. I would say that there is a bipartisan clamor to see it, and my colleagues who've seen it said it is absolutely sickening and almost unwatchable.
Got 30 seconds left here. I've been reading about you having to increase your own security because of an encounter with a January 6th perpetrator. Is that true?
Well, they pardoned 1,600 insurrectionists, including hundreds who had violently assaulted our police officers. 140 of our officers were wounded, hospitalized, disfigured, many of them just permanently disabled and having to leave work. So they're out there. It's a dangerous time for everybody. You stay safe, Tavis. We're going to get through this nightmare, and it's a pleasure being on your show, Tavis.
It's an honor having you on. Thank you for your time. All the best to you, Congressman Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland. When we come forward, retired Judge LaDoris Cordell on these on the drama at the U.S. Supreme Court, their shenanigans. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Lawmakers are pushing a bill to fight online child exploitation. Senator Chuck Grassley says it would criminalize coercing minors into self-harm.
You know, it used to be people that were 15 or 16 years old. Now it's people that are 12 and 13, even younger than that. Protecting our children is why we're doing this.
It would also update sentencing laws. He says online groups have exploited. Eileen Higgins is Miami's next mayor after winning Tuesday's runoff with 59% of the vote. Backed by former President Barack Obama, Higgins becomes the city's first female mayor, defeating Trump-endorsed Emiliano Gonzalez. And a grand jury is now hearing evidence in the death of a teen girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, linked to singer David. TMZ reports his record label executive, Robert Morgenroth, testified Monday admitting he didn't call police and wanted the tour to continue. Get BIN News now, on demand, 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are back in action tonight against San Antonio at Crypto.com. First game for the Lakers since their win at Philadelphia on Sunday. The Lakers are 17-6, second best record in the Western Conference behind Oklahoma City. Bob Chesney was introduced Tuesday as the new head football coach at UCLA. The 43-year-old Chesney is 20-5 in 2 seasons at James Madison, a member of the Sun Belt Conference. James Madison is 12-1 this season. They won the Sun Belt title. UCLA will have to wait a while before Chesney goes to work. James Madison is in the 12-team college football playoffs. They play a first-round game at Oregon on December 20th. Chesney agreed to a 5-year deal with UCLA worth $33.7 million. He's got a lot of work to do in Westwood. UCLA is coming off back-to-back losing seasons and hasn't won a conference title since 1998. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
We thank Congressman Jamie Raskin for kicking us off today in that first half hour with his keen insights. Speaking of keen insights, we now move to retired Superior Court Judge LaDoris Cordell, author of the book Her Honor, My Life on the Bench, What Works, What's Broken, and How to Change It. Judge Cordell, good to hear you again. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and I'm delighted to be back talking with you.
Always honored to have you on this program. Let me just start with this. I was thinking last night in prepping for our conversation today where you would start in this present moment if you were writing a book specifically about what's broken inside the Supreme Court. Put you on the spot here. Where would you start that book? It'd be a long book, a lot of pages. It'd be a really dense text. But where would you start? What's broken? What's wrong with our Supreme Court?
Well, I would start way, way back in the day, and not just today, about how Supreme Court justices are selected, how political it has become, where we have ended up with, as I've said earlier to you, the 6 Supreme disappointments. We've had other disappointments on the court. The court has made all kinds of decisions that have favored the wealthy, favored businesses to the detriment of the middle class, the low class, low-income classes, as well as people of color of any class. So it's a long story. I'm not an expert on the U.S. Supreme Court, and I do know, and I think you don't need to be an expert to know, that that system is broken, entirely broken, and we need a new system about how we select our Supreme Court justices, and especially in light of the decisions they've made, most recently giving Donald Trump unprecedented authority and power.
Yep. I love her frame, her frame of the 6 supreme disappointments, the 6 supreme disappointments. I love every time she says it. All right, let me just go right in and make most of the time that we have here. You've already pushed in this direction, so I'm going to follow you. I asked Jamie Raskin about this as a member of Congress a moment ago. He gave his opinion, but I've been anxious to get to you. So it appears that this court is prepared to give Donald Trump more presidential power. The arguments this week, to me at least, gave a pretty clear indication. The 6 conservatives had one set of questions. The other 3 had another set of questions. You can see, as you can often in this court, how this thing is ultimately going to turn out. But how do you read the fact? What do you make of the fact that they're about to give Donald Trump even more presidential authority?
I don't make much of it at all, quite frankly, Tavis. This is what this court has set out to do, starting with citizens, actually before, but with Citizens United, and then giving him the presidential immunity. Why are we surprised? We're not surprised at all. What I don't understand is what do they really, really want? Do they want a nation that Donald Trump is determined to rebuild by whitewashing everything? Do they really, really want this? And one of the extreme areas is climate change. Do they really want a world, and specifically a country, that is just devastated because of climate change for their children, for their grandchildren? I don't understand it at all, but apparently they're determined to go in that direction.
Yeah, we were all taught in our civics classes, as you well know, that Congress writes the laws, they make the laws. The Supreme Court interprets the law, and the president, the executive branch, signs the law. So Congress writes it, president, executive branch signs it, and the Supreme Court interprets it. So I'm not naive here with this question. I understand the role that they play in this process, and yet it seems to me that this court has basically taken on the role of Congress, the legislative branch. With every decision they're making, they are essentially writing public policy. Do you see it that way?
Absolutely. And that's a major concern. It should be a concern of everyone. We have three distinct branches of government, and they are now being blurred as a result of this administration. And that's, of course, the threat to our democracy. It is terrifying, and it is why everyone has to do something, be it being out in the streets, being it writing letters, running for office. To remain silent, do nothing means you're complicit, and if that's what you want, shame on you. And if not, we just have to continue to address it. And, one of the most powerful tools that Trump has used is basically, quite frankly, a worthless piece of paper, and it's called an executive order. These are just memos that he's signing. The most recent, which takes effect today, is ending the policy on how we deal with discrimination. It's taking away a basic tool, which is this what's called the disparate impact or disparate treatment tool in determining if there's discrimination and then ways to address it. That's gone as of today.
Yeah. I'm glad you raised that. I wanted to ask you a question about that. The Justice Department has, in fact, as Judge Cordell just laid out, killed this long-time tool that's been used to prove racial discrimination. I'm trying to... my head started spinning last night. Got a headache, in fact, thinking about the conflation, the coordination, the conflation, the collaboration, choose your word, of these two realities. That Trump is becoming more and more racist in his language, in his discourse every single day. We played a clip earlier. He's just cussing all over the place and calling people names, calling Somalis names, calling Haitians names, et cetera, et cetera. So the racism is in full effect and it's on full display on the one hand. On the other hand, the Justice Department now has killed, again, this longtime tool that's been used to prove racial discrimination. You put those two things together, it means what, Judge Cordell?
Oh, it spells, if they had their way, doom for people of color and basically then for poor people of whatever race in this country. He is trying to rid this country of anything that has to do with bringing about racial equality. And this latest with his executive order saying that we can no longer look at if one group is experiencing disparate treatment in, let's say, in employment, where that doesn't matter. The only way to prove discrimination now in Trump's America is to show that there is intentional discrimination. That means basically saying to people, if you hear someone say, we don't like black people, we don't like Haitians, and therefore we're not going to allow them to work here, that's the only way that they will deal with discrimination. It's horrible, and yet, it's right in the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. It's right there saying eliminate disparate impact liability. And he's just following the playbook that he denied he even knew about or cared about at all. So we're on a terrible trajectory. But that doesn't mean we should give up hope. We're never going to give up hope because we're going to save this democracy. Those of us who care, we outnumber those who care less about this. But it's just, again, can't be more in your face, Tavis, and more blatant than what is happening. And then this particularly policy going into effect today. I do want to add just one other thing here. With this executive order, he has directed Pam Bondi to look at every consent order, every settlement, and every ongoing investigation that has anything to do with disparate impact and basically stop it. End the consent decrees, settlements, stop all investigations that have anything to do with disparate treatment of one group over another. And that he directed that had to start within 45 days of his issuing the order, and he issued the order in April, and 90 days afterwards for dealing with consent orders. So this is immediate. This is immediate stuff, and I hope that the lawyers that are doing God's work are prepared to go in and tackle this in the courts.
No, as Judge Cordell just said, conservatives have long argued that proving discrimination should require proof that someone intended to treat people differently. I got a bright audience. You can tell that's a high bar. It's an impossible bar almost to prove that someone intended to treat people differently. Reminds me of the stand your ground laws, right? In Florida and other states. Hey, as long as you say you felt threatened by Trayvon Martin and his bottle of iced tea and Skittles, you can kill him, and not just Trayvon. There are many others. So this is sort of the counter to that, or that argument that if you can't prove that they intended to treat you differently, the data really doesn't matter. And we know that so much in this country is proven by the data. The numbers don't lie. People use numbers to lie, but the data doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie. But now, as Judge Cordell just laid out quite eloquently and quite brilliantly, in the Trump era, data no longer matters. The data be damned. If you didn't hear him say it, if you ain't got him on tape, if you can't prove that they intended to treat you in a racist manner, then it doesn't matter. We haven't got to birthright citizenship yet. The Supreme Court agreed to take this case. As I say all the time, they choose the cases they want to hear. Why did they choose to hear this case about birthright citizenship? That's the question for Judge Cordell when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
I got the champagne. Everybody can blast.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with retired Superior Court Judge LaDoris Cordell. Her book is called Her Honor, My Life on the Bench, What Works, What's Broken, and How to Change It. We tap in with her every so often to get her take on all the trending topics as it relates to legal issues in this country. And so we talked a moment ago about the Supreme Court being poised to give Donald Trump even more presidential power, presidential authority. Now I want to turn our attention very quickly here to birthright citizenship. As I said 3 times already, the Supreme Court chooses the cases it wants to hear. Why do you think, Judge Cordell, they chose to hear this case about birthright citizenship?
It is my guess that the 3 justices who are not disappointments did not vote to hear this. So why did they decide to hear it? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, they're hearing it because Trump issued another executive order, and it instructs its federal agencies not to recognize citizenship for children born in the U.S. to, and I quote, temporary visitors and illegal aliens if their birth happens more than 30 days after his executive order takes effect. The court's decision to do this, well, to even hear this case, will determine not only the legal status of children born to undocumented or temporary status parents. This decision is going to set the boundaries of who belongs in America. So it's important very quickly just to look again, put it in context. In Dred Scott versus Sanford, the Supreme Court held that black people, enslaved or free, could not be citizens and that Congress lacked the power to ban slavery. The 14th Amendment, passed in 1866, it was ratified in 1868, overturned Dred Scott, expanded fundamental rights to formerly enslaved people. The Citizenship Clause states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. And that principle was confirmed a few years later in U.S. versus Wong Kim Ark, and held that children born in the U.S. to immigrant parents are citizens at birth, regardless of the parent's immigration status. So we basically have citizenship today in America on unrestricted birthplace-based citizenship, and the other is restricted ancestry-based citizenship, granting citizenship to children born abroad to U.S. parents. So there are 2 things here, birth in the United States and being subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And that second part, subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S., that the sides disagree on. And that's what the court is going to be looking at. So this decision, I'm stunned that it is even before the Supreme Court, but it will decide who are Americans, who can be Americans in this country.
I've talked to any number of legal scholars over the last number of months since this became a storyline, and to a person, even those who lean more to the right. I have not talked to a single legal scholar who has suggested to me they think the Supreme Court will, in fact, redefine birthright citizenship, as Judge Cordell has just read to your hearing, the way it is presently defined on paper. Not one of these scholars believes they're actually going to overturn this, that they're going to redefine, again, birthright citizenship. I wonder if Judge Cordell is as bullish on the court doing the right thing here as these scholars I have spoken to. We'll get her answer to that when we come forward in our remaining moments with her on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
He's a paradigm pioneer and the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
With 2.5 minutes to go, before I offer my exit question to Judge Cordell, you should also know that yesterday the Supreme Court heard a case about campaign finance limits, and they seem likely, in this case, to eliminate one of the remaining checks on money in politics, a decision in line with recent rulings favoring First Amendment free speech rights over fears about potential corruption. So they are apparently, based on arguments yesterday, to scrap this rule aimed at preventing wealthy donors from bypassing limits on what they can give candidates by funneling money through political parties. So you give all you can give, and then you funnel more money through the political parties. They're going to make way for that as well. And so, again, one of the last lines of defense, as it were, on undue spending on campaigns is about to be scrapped as well. I digress on that for now. I got 2 minutes left. Judge Cordell, it belongs to you. What say you about how the 6 Supreme disappointments will show up on this issue of birthright citizenship, longstanding law with plenty of precedent, as you laid out earlier?
I agree with legal scholars who say what the Supreme Court should do, and which is to uphold birthright citizenship, meaning anyone born on the soil here is an American. That's what they should do. I am not bullish on the idea that they will do it, because the government's argument before the Supreme Court is that the citizenship clause should not apply to children of undocumented individuals, immigrants. So that's what the government wants. They want to keep out immigrants, undocumented, and kick them all out of this country. That's really what this is about. And so if you look at what Trump has done, Trump 1 and 1.0 and 2.0, is to go after undocumented immigrants. This is yet another way of his doing it. And the Supreme Court, and again, the 6 Supreme disappointments, they basically supported this approach. So I'm not so sure that the legal scholars are going to be right. I hope they are. But I don't think so. I think that these 6 Supreme disappointments are going to come through and not disappoint Donald Trump on this one.
To all of my legal scholar friends listening who've been on this program, I'm with Judge Cordell. I'm not holding my breath. I'm with Judge Cordell on this one. I said on this program yesterday very quickly here that when you can't change the game, you change the rules. We know we are moving toward that day, not too far from now, where this will be a minority country. They can't stop the data. They can't stop the demographics. You can't change the game, so you change the rules, and you change the rules by kicking immigrants out and not letting immigrants in from certain countries that Donald Trump has demeaned in a clip that we played earlier. I digress for now. Judge Cordell, always an honor to have you on the program. Enjoy your holidays. Thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure, Travis. My pleasure.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Lawmakers are pushing a bill to fight online child exploitation. Senator Chuck Grassley says it would criminalize coercing minors into self-harm.
You know, it used to be people that were 15 or 16 years old. Now it's people that are 12 and 13, even younger than that, protecting our